Hello, welcome to Talk Good Games. Just finished Fulham 1, West Ham United 1. I'm wearing a smile. I sound excited. It's because I'm delighted that we've just nicked a point at the end at Craven Cottage. So naturally, you're going to be feeling better. My mood probably doesn't reflect how I feel about the game, but we're going to discuss that. We're going to talk about the highlights from what we've just seen at Craven Cottage. As West Ham, Danny Ings, an unlikely hero for Lopetegui. Just the last couple of games, he wasn't even on the bench. We were trying to get him out the door at the end of the transfer window, but he's still here. It was our last roll of the dice from Lopetegui, and it has worked. Masterclass or got away with it? That's what we're going to discuss, and I want you guys to get involved in the comments below as well. If you're new to Hammers Chat, please do subscribe and also drop a like on this video as well by clicking thumbs up. Both things are free. It takes a handful of seconds and helps the video out. Honestly, it literally takes 3 seconds of your time, but it generally does help us. So please do like the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Right, let's go back to the start of the game. The lineup come out. I was not happy with the starting 11. Seeing Tom Souček in there, seeing Michail Antonio in there, and seeing Kudus on the left-hand side. I was unhappy with those 3 selections from the manager. I was happy with the keeper, the defence, and the 2 central midfielders. Not a problem with that. The front 4, the personnel and the makeup of it was not a fan. However, we would wait and see. Unfortunately, I feel like my fears were correct. We were crap. We were absolutely dreadful up until halftime. The entire 45 minutes, we were rubbish. We improved in the second half, but we'll get onto that. But the first 45 minutes against Fulham today, utter shambles from West Ham. It was. I keep on making a joke, tongue in cheek, calling him Madry Moyes. A previous game so far this season, I said I feel like I'm watching West Ham last season just with new players, and it was like that in the first half. We were watching last season's West Ham just 10 yards higher up the pitch. That's what it was really. Fulham were all over us. We couldn't keep the ball. We couldn't get the pitch. Well, I was going to say we couldn't get the ball at the pitch. We could when we booted it, but it just was not enjoyable at all. And shock horror, with that starting 11, we were lacking creativity. There was nobody getting their foot on the ball. We were struggling to make anything happen. And Fulham eventually took the lead. Now, before they ended up making it 1-0, there was a penalty shout. It's 50-50 for me, this one. I think if the referee gives it, I don't think VAR gets involved. I think the VAR just goes with whatever the referee's decided. I can understand why Fulham fans will be a little bit annoyed. For me, it's not a pen. I think Traore is... To be honest with you, had Traore just tried to do what he was supposed to do, which is getting on goal and get a shot away, and he did do it, but he compromised his own shooting position. He compromised his own stance by trying to use his standing leg to get Kilman to kick it. So that one's on Traore as far as I'm concerned. Maybe a little bit fortunate Kilman. On another day, I think the referee does point to the spot. And like I said, I don't think VAR gets involved. I think maybe Fulham fans could feel harsher done by a decision later on in the game where I think we got away with that one. Kilman got off with that one, by the way. I'm not saying it was definitely not a pen. I just think it's 50-50. We got away with it. They did make it 1-0 though through Jimenez. Now this one is on Mavropanos. Smith Rowe's making the run. Mavropanos can see him making the run. There's no excuses. It's not like he's coming from behind him or anything like that. He's running towards him. Mavropanos has got absolutely no excuses not to see what Smith Rowe's trying to do. He tries to play his own offside trap and gets it wrong. He's not relying on Wan-Bissaka or Kilman or Emerson here. Mavropanos is relying on himself to play the offside trap. He does his own offside trap and gets it wrong by about half a yard. He then assumes he's got it right. So the first thing is he gets it wrong. The second thing is he gets it wrong about thinking he's correct when he actually got it wrong. So he starts jogging back with his hand in the air while Smith Rowe runs after the ball and keeps it in. So he's either assuming A, Smith Rowe's not going to get it, or B, the flag's eventually going to go up. Well, he's wrong about both counts. And then when he does finally realise, oh, I better get back and do some defending, Smith Rowe just plays it between his legs. Horrific from him. Kilman gets beaten by Jimenez. I don't see much more of what Kilman can do. He's watching Jimenez. He goes, Kilman goes. He makes a sliding block. He tries to make the block. It's a good finish by Jimenez. But that one's just completely on Mavropanos as far as I'm concerned. sometimes when teams go 1-0 down, you see a reaction. It sparks them into life a little bit. Hang on a minute, we're doing too well here. Not West Ham, no. And Fulham just kept on coming. Really, they might feel hard done by not to go in 2-0 up at half time. They were in complete control. Nothing we were working. And by the way, I have got a trigger when it comes to West Ham. Do you know, we all have things that live rent-free in our head, and we all have triggers, don't we? Certain things, certain players. I've got one. Michail Antonio long throws. I absolutely despise them. I hate them. The only good thing about Antonio's long throws today was he didn't have gloves on to take them off, because there's nothing worse than seeing him take those gloves off and roll them up in the ball and throw them down as he prepares to take his long throw, with the inevitable outcome of it getting cleared by the first defender. 2 long throws today, both cleared by Fulham. And the worst thing about it, often it will launch a counter-attack against us. Can we stop this? I don't know why we've decided to continue this absolute ridiculous tactic that we had under David Moyes. It suggests it's a Michail Antonio tactic rather than a managerial one, because there's no way in hell that you look at what Antonio did last season with these long throws and go, you know what? He was on to something there. Let's continue that. Please, please, please. I know this triggers me, and I know I'm OTT about it, but I hate it. When I see Antonio getting ready for a long throw, I'm almost angry. And then it gets cleared and I get angry. Can we please stop these long throws? It's a big no. I've never seen one work. Anyway, we continue to be crap until half time. The two that had question marks over the head regarding starting today, all they did was justify the fans' opinions. There was a lot of unhappiness with Souček and Antonio starting, a lot of confusion as to why Lopetegui started both of those. Come half-time, I think it was West Ham fans 1, Lopetegui 0 in that regards, and he has to admit that because he substituted both at half-time. That is an admittance of a mistake. Now, I'll give him some credit for making the changes at half-time. However, it's tiny. It's almost like a consolation credit to some extent, because he shouldn't have been in that position. He was only in that position because of himself. If he played the defence as it was and decided Wan-Bissaka was getting ripped apart and decided to take him off at half, fair enough, right? That's fine. You've done the right thing. For whatever reason, it's not worked. You did the wrong thing, and then you had to fix it. You're a goal down, and you now had to use up 2 substitutions to rectify what you did wrong in the first place. I still don't get it. Still don't get why he did what he did with that starting 11. But nevertheless, half-time subs were made. Right, now we can look forward to the second half. And I thought there was an improvement. Were we prime Barcelona? No. However, we got a bit better and we posed some form of control of the game. I'm not going to use the word threat because I don't think we did. I think Leno had a pretty comfortable afternoon. He only had 2 saves to make and he made one of them. The other one, he didn't. We didn't really create anything from open play. We just had more of the ball. Fulham retreated a little bit and gave us the space. Paqueta started getting on the ball and started trying to make things happen, just move the ball quicker. And we stopped a lot of the hoof ball, not all of it. There was 1 or 2 culprits in particular who I think were more keen to just boot it rather than try and play it through the lines. But we seen an improvement in the second half. Not enough, but a better one. However, I'd argue it was hard to not see an improvement. I think Somerville looked quite bright when he came on until he got chopped down by Lukic. After that, I felt he was a little bit anonymous, but he started the second half quite brightly. But I think Paqueta started to make a little bit of a difference as well for us. But 2 big chances. First one for Jared Bowen, ball in from Kudus. The first touch from Jared Bowen I thought was absolutely stunning. A fantastic control of the ball, sets himself up for the shot. But I think it's brilliant goalkeeping from Leno, to be honest with you. I know you could argue that he should be dinking over the goalkeeper. And you know something, a natural striker may do that. Bowen on his weak foot, I'm unsurprised that he didn't do that, to be honest with you. On another day, he slips that past the goalkeeper, under the goalkeeper, whatever. I think it's just fantastic goalkeeping rather than poor finishing from Bowen. But the first touch, just delicious. Then there comes the talking point, I think. I'm going to say, I think Solar's a very lucky boy here, actually. He's first one, I think it was a bit of a harsh yellow, actually. I think he might have just got the ball when he went in on Kearney. But the second one, I think he's really lucky to get away with that second yellow, actually. If it was the other way around, I would have liked to have seen that opponent get a second booking. And had he not already been booked, I think he would have got a yellow card. He let a few things go today, the referee. Alvarez in the first half took out Traore, Robinson took out Kudus. So he did let some bookable offences go. But I did feel when Solar did that, my initial reaction was, he's going here. And you could see the panic in Solar's face as well. But the referee just let him away with that one. I think Fulham could feel more hard done by that decision than the penalty one. I think he bottled that one, the referee. Obviously good for us as a West Ham fan, but I like to discuss referees' decisions without the claret and blue specs on. Then we went on to get the winner. We went on, I say winner, no we didn't. Apologies, it's live, I can't edit it, but it felt like a winner. I celebrated it like it was a winner because it came from, I say nothing, well it did come from nothing. We had a throw in, just quick thinking from Soufal. We've seen this before at West Ham where Soufal and Bowen have that partnership, which we don't have elsewhere. Emerson and Kudus don't have that partnership. Wan-Bissaka and Jared Bowen don't have that partnership yet. Hopefully that will come. But Soufal gets it. Bowen's on the move. Bowen knows that guy will take the quick throw in to me. It is a quick throw in. It's really good thinking, really good play by Soufal, who I don't think had a good game when he came on. I thought Nelson had him pinned back completely. He was reversing all the time. But good throw in, good delivery. But Ings, what a finish. Keeper maybe should be doing better, but the first touch is really good by Ings, sets himself up, gives himself a couple of good strides to get some power on this one. And the pace of the ball, Leno just cannot keep it out of the back of the net. 1-1, Danny Ings, the last person I'd expect to come on and save Lopetegui's skin to some extent. And he gambled, Lopetegui gambled. Rodriguez off, Alvarez off. Solar then got booked just before Alvarez came off. So our sort of deepest midfielder was on a booking. Paqueta's in there as well. That defence had no protection for the last 10 minutes of the game. Last throw of the dice for Danny Ings, and it paid off. It worked. I celebrated it. I'm happy we got the point. It's not going to be the easiest place in the world to go, Craven Cottage. Finished 1-1. So myself, Gonzo, and Jack, the Fulham fan, we all said 1-1. So all our predictions came true for this one. But it does feel like removing the happy emotion at the end of the game because it's a last-minute equaliser. Trying to remove that, it can be difficult, but do my best to remove it. We got away with it today. I think Fulham have themselves to blame. I mean, they nearly nicked it right at the end with Calvin Bassey there, but they had some really good chances. And the first half of the second half, that makes sense. So 45 minutes till 65, 70 minutes, we were on top. But then I thought it really opened up, and I think Fulham were starting to pose more and more of a threat, especially that Nelson substitution. I think he caused us a lot of bother, actually, down that left-hand side. And they'll come away feeling like they've been mugged off a little bit today. And you know what? I would agree. I think they have done. We've got away with that today. I'm not sure we deserve the point, actually. But I'll take it, and it's one of relief because I think Lopetegui got it wrong today, but he got away with it. And that won't happen too often. Usually you'll get punished for mistakes like that. Made his errors, trying to rectify them at half-time. And then Danny Ings, I mean, you can't tell me that putting Ings on the last 5 minutes, it's done with much confidence he's going to come on and get you an equaliser. It's just a pure desperate substitution. And it's paid off for this one. But he's got to learn. Lopetegui has got to learn from today. But we'll discuss that tomorrow. Before we talk about one or two individual players, I'll be live tomorrow morning, Sunday morning. I'll be live at 9 a.m, as I will be after every single match. So if you're kicking around tomorrow, dude, please join me because it's the interactive show where you guys put your thoughts into the live chat and we'll see what you're all saying. So please come along and get your point about the game across tomorrow, 9 a.m. Appreciate it if you could join me. In terms of individual performers, I thought our best player was... I'm not sure everybody's going to agree with me here, but this is my opinion. I thought our best player was Alvarez today, which says a lot. All that money spent, all that attacking play, all that attacking flair in the team and on the bench. But I thought Alvarez was the one that impressed me. Wasn't perfect, not by a long way, and it's a low bar being the West Ham player of the match today. But I felt most players were making quite a lot of mistakes. I think You know, Kudus looked quite bright for 15 minutes maybe in the second half, but faded pretty quickly. I think he had a couple of goals at Robinson, and he sort of died off a little bit, which was disappointing. I thought Bowen was lost as striker. Bassey and Anderson sort of had him in their back pocket, to be honest with you. But I thought Alvarez was the player that I was impressed by. Mavropanos was just 6s and 7s today. Wan-Bissaka, not a good first half, better second half from him, but I think in the first half I thought he gave up the battle with Iwobi a little bit too easy. Not concerned though. There's some players where they play poorly, you can shrug it off a little bit because you're confident the next game they perhaps will just be better, and I think Wan-Bissaka falls into that category as far as I'm concerned. But Antonio was really bad. The bit I think that did it for everybody and Lopetegui was when he had the ball at his feet. And he just, the thing is, he was involved in the build-up. It was some quick build-up. I think Souček flicked it on. Antonio gave it to Bowen, gave it back to Antonio. And Antonio had previously done a one-touch pass in the same move. But then when he got it back, he just held on to it. And the ball was like a yard away from him. He was just holding on to it. And then Fulham nicked in and went on the counter. And Lopetegui snapped. And I think we all did. And I think that was the point where he was coming off at halftime, regardless of what happens. But he wasn't great, and Souček was just completely anonymous. We played a midfield that suggested we were just going to go long ball. And the most frustrating thing for me in the first half was I didn't like the lineup, but you have to accept it. There's nothing you can do about it. I thought, right, we're going to have Souček. Let's get the crosses in the box. And quite a lot of occasions in the first half, I thought we were getting the ball wide, but we'd work it backwards, sideways, and down the other side. And there'd still be no cross. But well, hang on a minute. What's the point of having Souček on the pitch if you're not going to utilise having Souček in an advanced position? I don't want to see it, but if you're going to play him in that role, let's get the crosses in. And Antonio's no mug in the air, certainly never used to be. But get Souček and Antonio and get the crosses in. We didn't do that, though. We just kept working it into positions that we could cross it and then going backwards. I didn't enjoy today. I did not enjoy today at all. That feeling I had at the start of the video, being happy because we've got a last-minute equaliser, it's faded already. We got off with it. During the international break, my summary of Lopetegui has been, it's inconclusive. The evidence is inconclusive. Need to see more, need more evidence. Today, there's another game there, another piece of the jigsaw. I'm not impressed. I remain patient. This is just a review of a 90-minute game. But I didn't enjoy it today, actually. Did not enjoy it. I think Kudus on the right looked bright. Then we switched him over to the left again. Now, listen, like I said, he faded on the right-hand side before he got moved. But 45 minutes, the first half on the left, struggled to get into the game. We moved him over. He started to get into it, taking players on. Then we moved him. It's just, I don't know, man. I was hoping for better today from Lopetegui and West Ham. But anyway, I'm off skis. Hopefully you can join me at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'll be back later on to read your comments below as well. So get your comments in below. If you've enjoyed this review, please do drop a like on it. It helps us out. Subscribe to Hammers Chat. And I'll catch up with you tomorrow.